Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're wading into, well, a really big one. The paradox of astrology.
It's a fundamental puzzle, really.
It is, because on one hand, you have people who study it seriously, and they find these really meaningful, non-random correlations.
Right. Patterns.
Patterns, exactly.
Yeah.
Personal changes, collective events, things that just seem to align perfectly with planetary movements.
But then you bring in the physics.
And the whole thing just, it falls apart.
Yeah.
There's no known force, not gravity, not electromagnetism, nothing that can explain why, say, a Saturn return is a universal experience of reckoning. The math just isn't there.
So you're left with this huge gap.
A gap between meaning and mechanism. And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to explore a really fascinating philosophical solution to this paradox. It's a framework called Symbolic Dual Aspect Monism.
Or SDAM for short. And it's so important because it gets us out of that dead-end choice, you know.
What choice is that?
Either astrology is just complete nonsense, or there's some mysterious physical force we haven't found yet. SDAM says it's neither.
It's a third way.
It's a third way. It proposes that astrology isn't a science of force at all. It's a language of meaning, one that's actually lawful and built into the very structure of the cosmos.
So we're trying to understand how physics and meaning can exist in the same reality, not as enemies, but as two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. Two equally valid aspects of one single reality.
That's a huge conceptual shift. It asks us to stop seeing the universe as just, a bunch of random particles bumping into each other. So where do we start? What's the foundation?
The foundation of SDAM is that the universe isn't fundamentally matter. It's fundamentally an informational substrate.
Okay, that sounds pretty abstract. This is the whole unus mundus idea, right? The one world. What does that actually mean? Is it like or computer code?
It's closer to code, but maybe think of it as more organic. The unus mundus is like the deep grammar of existence itself. It's not a being. It's a layer of structured potential. Pure information, pure pattern.
The blueprint for everything.
A blueprint, yes. And from that blueprint, reality manifests in two distinct ways, or through two laws at the exact same time.
Okay.
Imagine you're looking at a piece of sheet music. The notes on the page, that's the onus mundus. You can analyze it in two different ways.
And the first way is the one we're all familiar with, the quantitative or physical law.
That's it. That's the physics. It governs matter, energy, cause and effect. It's the speed of the music, the decibels, the length of the notes, everything you can measure with an instrument.
And the second aspect, this is the new part, the qualitative or symbolic law.
Yes. This law governs meaning, correspondence, and pattern. In our music analogy, it's the melody, it's the emotion, the feeling the music gives you, what it all means. And that is the realm where astrology operates.
Right, and this is where a lot of people check out. Because if this symbolic law is as real as gravity, why can't we build a machine to measure it?
Because you're trying to use a ruler to measure an emotion.
Yeah.
The tools are wrong. Symbolic law deals in correspondence, not causation. And this is the most critical point. In this model, the planets are not physical forces causing anything symbolic to happen.
They're not beaming meaning at us.
Not at all. They are index markers. They're rhythmic signals for fundamental archetypes that are already embedded in that deep informational blueprint. They don't create the meaning, they just time it, they synchronize it.
That signal versus force idea.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Oh.
Can you give a concrete example?
Of course. Let's take Saturn. Physically, it's a gas giant with rings, right?
Yeah.
But in the symbolic realm, its cycle, its movement through the sky, acts as a rhythmic signal. It highlights when the archetype of contraction is being activated.
Structure, discipline, limitation, all that good stuff.
All of that. When Saturn hits a key point in your chart, it's signaling that the theme of structural review is on the agenda in the unus mundus, both for you personally and for the world.
And Jupiter would be the opposite.
Jupiter signals expansion, growth, opportunity. The planets are just the hands on a cosmic clock, pointing to which deep archetypal theme is currently active.
So physics isn't being broken. It just only tells half the story.
Exactly. Two lawful systems, side by side.
Okay, if the planets are just markers, then the real engine here is these archetypes. But where do they come from? Are they just human ideas that we've projected onto the sky for centuries?
That's the Jungian question, isn't it? But in this model, they aren't projections. They are structural potentials. Meaning they are the necessary logical foundations for any complex system to even exist. They're the scaffolding. You literally can't have a story or a society or even a biological organism without themes of growth Jupiter and limitation Saturn. They have to be there.
They're preconditions for meaning itself.
Precisely. They exist as potential, and then consciousness comes along and activates them, gives them texture, elaborates on them through experience.
Which brings us to the mind-cosmos relationship. You said this is a self-experiencing reality.
Yeah.
That's a huge claim. How do mind and the universe relate in this model if one doesn't create the other?
This is the elegance of the monism part. They co-emerge. Meaning and consciousness don't cause each other any more than heads causes tails.
They just appear together.
They arise simultaneously from that deep informational substrate. They are two inseparable sides of the same reality experiencing itself. So you are not an observer looking at a separate universe. You are a part of a universe that is structured to experience itself through you.
From observer to participant. Okay, let's scale this up. If it works for me in my birth chart, how does it work for, say, entire historical eras? You call this fractal synchronicity.
Right, fractal, because the underlying mechanism is the same at all scales, individual, city, nation. But when you get to the global level, something new happens.
What's that?
You get emergent properties. Think about it. You have billions of people participating, all interacting within huge social structures. The feedback loops are massive.
So an individual might experience a Saturn transit as a personal lesson in responsibility.
Exactly. But when that same symbolic rhythm hits the entire collective, amplified by billions, it might emerge as a global financial crisis or a pandemic that forces structural change. The archetypal theme is the same, contraction, a reality check, but the scale of its expression is completely different.
That connects personal experience to world history in a very clean way.
It does.
Okay, let's shift to evolution. If this whole system is dynamic, how does the discovery of new things in the physical world, like new planets, play into the symbolic world?
The co-evolutionary trigger. This is one of the most compelling parts of the model.
And the discovery of the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto is the prime example here, isn't it?
It's the perfect case study. Think of it like hardware and software. The physical planet, let's say Uranus, is the hardware. It's been out there in its orbit for billions of years, a physical fact.
Right.
But that hardware was only discovered in 1781 when the collective human psyche, the software, had evolved to a point where it could actually integrate the archetype Uranus represents.
So the archetype of revolution, disruption, radical change, it was always there in potential.
As a potential, yes.
Yeah.
But it became fully activated in our collective consciousness right around the time of the American and French revolutions. The physical discovery was the moment that new symbolic software got downloaded into the human operating system.
The cosmos and consciousness are evolving together.
In lockstep.
This is where it gets really personal then. The question of agency, free will. If these archetypal patterns are so lawful and powerful, are we just puppets? Is my chart just a script I'm forced to follow?
No, and this is where conscious awareness becomes the absolute key. But it's not a get-out-of-jail-free card.
What do you mean?
Awareness does not cancel the symbolic law. If you have a major Pluto transit coming, the theme of profound transformation and power is going to show up. You can't just decide to skip it because you know it's coming.
So what good is being aware of it?
Awareness grants meaningful agency. It doesn't let you change the script, but it lets you change your performance. You change the mode of expression of the archetype.
Okay, an example. Let's take a tough one, like a global Saturn-Pluto alignment. Historically, that's often about
Collapse, authoritarianism, deep structural crises. That's the low-frequency, unconscious expression, overwhelming fear, rigid control.
but with conscious awareness.
With awareness, you can achieve sublimation. That same immense pressure can be channeled into profound, necessary structural reform, building something that lasts, doing the deep psychological work. The archetypal challenge is the same, but your agency determines whether the outcome is breakdown or breakthrough.
So history is this.
Hmm.
This dance between the cosmic script and the quality of our performance.
A co-produced enactment. That's a perfect way to put it.
So let's zoom out one last time. If this is all co-evolving, where is it all going? Is there a point to it all? An end goal?
This brings us to what the model calls weak teleology. The universe isn't completely random, which would be zero teleology.
Nor is it marching towards some fixed, predetermined endpoint.
Right, that would be strong teleology or destiny. It's in the middle. The symbolic substrate, this deep grammar, has a direction. It trends toward greater complexity, greater integration, greater coherence.
It's always trying to create more sophisticated meaning.
Always. But, and this is crucial, it has no predetermined destination. There's no fixed omega point at the end of the road. The direction is set, but the path is open-ended. It depends on our participation.
Wow. Okay, so to bring this all together, astrology, through this SDAM lens, is not about fortune-telling.
Not at all.
It's the study of a co-evolutionary, meaning generating, participatory universe. That's a mouthful, but it seems to cover it.
It does. And for you, listening to this, it means your life isn't just a series of random events. There is a deep symbolic grammar to it. The cycles you feel, the challenges and breakthroughs, they are part of a lawful process.
A process the universe requires to become more coherent.
Yes. And here's the final thought we want to leave you with. Consciousness isn't just a passive audience member watching this cosmic play unfold.
It's an actor.
It's more than that. Through your choices, through your meaningful agency, you are actively helping to write and expand the symbolic code itself. You're not just reading the script of the cosmos, you are a co-author.
A co-author of the unfolding meaning of the universe. Something to think about until our next deep dive. Thanks for joining us.